Hi everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Ultimate Tmnt The Last Ronin Karai figure. So before we take a look at Karai, let's take a look at the accessories that she comes with. So first up, she comes with a set of relaxed hands. Up next, she comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, she comes with an alternate right hand for holding the rope dart and the rope dart, and that looks very nice. I love the way she can hold this. This looks very awesome in her hand. Up next, she has accessory holding hands. Up next, she comes with her sword. It's kind of loose in her hand. You can see it's kind of leaning this way in her hand, so she can't hold it very tight, and that's a bit of a bummer. It has some very nice sculpt and paint detail to the handle right here. I like the little tassel hanging off the back here. I do wish it would have been articulated, though. That way, when you're posing the figure around, you can make it look like it's in motion, like it's kind of whooshing. But another complaint I have is there's this brown mark right here on the blade, and it's down in the plastic. I actually thought it was just maybe some extra paint or something, but yeah, this brown mark is down in the plastic, so that is unfortunate. It's really noticeable to me, because that brown looks terrible. I can paint over it with some silver, but it's still going to be noticeable because it's a chip down in the plastic. Up next, she comes with a sheath to put the sword in, and it stays on her very nicely, but it really hinders the articulation of the head and the arm. This hits on the forearm, the right forearm right here, and then her hair hits on the back of this. I mean, it does look good, except for this tassel sticking straight up in the air. That's why I said it would have been nice if it would have been on a swivel. That way you could swivel it down here whenever it's in her sheath. So yeah, this does look cool, but I probably won't be displaying her with this sheath, because as I said, you can only turn the head to the side very slightly once you have this sheath on her. And finally, she comes with this alternate screaming head sculpt, and I think this is the head sculpt that I prefer to have on her. I think it looks really nice and shows some really nice emotion there on the face, compared to this one. This one looks angry too, but this screaming head sculpt looks a lot better in my opinion. I think Neca did a good job on both of these head sculpts though. The only bad thing is getting these heads switched out was a nightmare. I actually had to shave the peg down just a little bit to get this to be able to go on the ball peg. So yeah, definitely be careful when you're switching these heads out, because as is, it felt like it was going to snap in half. So now let's go ahead and take a closer look at this head sculpt. As I said, Neca did a very nice job on this head sculpt. I really like the way it looks, the way she's screaming there. That looks really good. The hair is sculpted very, very nicely. The way it's coming out from underneath this cap, that looks really good. Here is the other head sculpt. I do like how the tie here in the back is articulated. You can actually move that around there. I think that looks really good, like it's flowing in the wind. Neca did a very, very cool job on that. This neck piece right here, this is removable, but once you remove it, it looks terrible. With this piece on, I feel like the figure has no neck. I feel like it looks like she has no neck, but once you take it off, you get this terrible indentation there on her neck, and it goes all the way on the back. You can see it's sculpted on there. So yeah, with that off and the head on, it doesn't look the greatest in my opinion. So there you can see that she has a neck, but then you can see that terrible indentation. So this is meant to be removed, but I don't like the way it looks once it's removed at all. With that being said, I think the body has a very nice sculpt to it. I like how it has the little comic lines sculpted here on the outfit. That looks very nice, especially the wrappings here on her forearms and hands. They're sculpted and painted very nicely. Those lines came out very clean. Another complaint that I have is this diaphragm joint right here. She has hardly any articulation here. It's basically non-existent. You barely even get side-to-side movement. You know, I feel like I'm complaining a lot about this figure, but I'm kind of let down by it now that I have it in hand, especially the articulation. Also, once you move the elbow joints right here, you can see a little bit of the plastic getting chewed up, and that is unfortunate. You can see the plastic being chewed up right here around this pin. If you have it down like this, it won't do that, but you know, I want to get her in some epic poses. It sucks that it's like that. And then she has some more really good sculpt detail to the wrappings here on her boots. That looks really good, and the painted on black lines came out very clean, even around the sole here. That looks really good. If you can see, once I turn it to the light, you get little gloss patches. You get a couple here on her right leg, but I feel like it's more noticeable here on the left leg. You can see, once I angle it just the right way, you can see a little bit of a shimmer. So that's kind of odd. So now let's go ahead and go over her articulation. So as I said, the tie back here is on a swivel, so you can swivel it side to side whenever you're taking pictures. She can't look up at all with either head sculpt. She can barely move down. She can move her head side to side very nicely. She has shoulders that can move out that far. The right side does move out a little more than the left. These joints feel very fragile here. She has swiveled the bicep, double jointed elbows that can bend in all the way, swiveled wrist that can move side to side and up and down. This diaphragm joint, I actually did take this apart to see what kind of joint it is, and it is on a ball joint, but it barely moves. You can see it barely moves up and down. There's barely any motion there. And side to side is very hindered. I feel like she always looks like she's sticking her chest out because of the way it's sculpted. So yeah, I really dislike this joint because it hinders almost all articulation right here. She has a swiveled waist that can move side to side. She has ball jointed hips that can do a complete split. She can barely kick forward at all. You know, as I said, I wanted to get her in some really cool poses fighting against Raphael, but her leg won't kick up hardly at all. So that is unfortunate. As you can hear, it's a very bad joint there. She can barely kick back. She has a very slight thigh swivel there. She has double jointed knees. No sort of boot rotation right here. I feel like the way this was sculpted was a really great place to put a cuff for a joint there, but yeah, you don't get any sort of swivel there. She has a swivel at the ankle that can move down all the way, up just a little bit, and an ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here she is next to the last Ronin himself. Here she is next to Raphael. And finally, here she is next to Shredder. So overall, this Karai figure isn't totally bad, but she's not really great either. I was very excited for this one. I was really excited to pose her fighting against Raphael, and I feel like the articulation just isn't there for her to do that. Neca made some questionable decisions when making the articulation scheme with this figure, and then she has that really weird mark there on her sword that's like down in the sword. And then she has that weird sculpted place in her neck. So yeah, I have a lot of issues with this figure, and I'm a little bit disappointed by it now that I have it in hand. So far, she is definitely the weakest link of the last Ronin line. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.